and welcome to the Disco VR new series called VR Tasting, in which I will sample some exquisite VR games for sophisticated gaming palates and share my impressions in these 5-minute reviews. I'm Tetiana from Disco VR, and in this first episode we will get a taste of a long-awaited game called Sam & Max. This time it's virtual, which came out today on Oculus Quest, Steam VR and Viveport, with PSVR support coming in 2022. A dog in a suit Sam and a rabbity thing Max are freelance police officers recruiting you to join their ranks. Sam & Max is a very successful media franchise which started, believe it or not, as a comic book in 1987, and the first ever video game Sam & Max Hit the Road saw the world in 1993. Sam & Max have come such a long way, and I'm super excited to review this game in virtual reality. The game starts with you helping Sam and Max shoot the bizarre, monstrous, 5-headed thing with something like a bazooka? The gameplay felt satisfyingly physical, as you had to actually use your hands to load the gun and shoot. The cartoonish graphics also looked very smooth and funky. I remember playing Sam and Max as a 2D game, and this is a very nice transition into VR. After shooting the ugly, multi-headed bastard, you appear in Sam and Max's office, where you will do several mini-quests to pass the aptitude test and become a freelance police officer.
Over there is a checklist of basic tasks. If you complete them without accidentally bursting your appendix, I may allow you to continue your training.
This part was really fun because it revealed all the quirkiness of the game's sense of humor, and I love the style of humor in this game.
Why don't you throw me like that anymore, Sam?
Pam in HR said I had to cut it out.
Just so you know, I like my corn dogs like I like my,
Max isn't good with similes.
Every line, every interaction between Sam and Max are just so bizarrely entertaining. It's like watching a comedy show, but also playing at the same time. Speaking of playing, here you can practice throwing darts, knives, axes, and even Max himself. You'll also get to make coffee and lunch for your superiors, you know, like a proper intern, and even, hear me out, shoot some roaches with a revolver. Yes, apparently that's the way to get rid of them. Please don't do this at home. As I've said, I love the physical interactions in this game. As opposed to just clicking the buttons on your controller to perform actions, physical movements are actually very important for the gameplay, and I love it because it adds to the sense of presence in the game. You can use a smooth locomotion or teleportation for a more comfortable mode. The only annoyance I've noticed is that rotating your camera using a thumbstick is extremely difficult for some reason. In most games, rotation is very snappy and quick, but here it works quite slowly, and in some cases it changes direction in completely unexpected ways. This won't matter if you don't mind rotating physically, but if you're in a sitting mode, then you can't rotate in space, and using a thumbstick's going to annoy you, especially when you're at scenes that require quick actions. What I've noticed so far is that most of the game feels like playing an arcade. It's not an open world game, obviously, and most of the things you do is play mini games that are built into a plot. For example, here I listen to the commands of the robotic Thomas Edison's head to defuse a bomb, and that's a sentence I never thought I would have to say.
Squeeze me. Boot me. Yank me. Squeeze me.
You will also throw basketballs or rock climb or shoot targets using guns, space lasers, or, yes, again, a bazooka. There are some free roaming elements, like being a detective means you walk around and ask people to give you some clues of the missing person, and that was a nice change from arcade-like minigames. And of course, all of this is accompanied by Sam and Max's humorous and witty remarks that always make me giggle. So when you play, I definitely recommend listening to their comments, because their humor really grows in you and the more you play, and the developers managed to create a really fun dynamics between the two lovable and awkward characters.
Well, pull my ears and call me Missy. You passed.
Missy is easily impressed.
Tox's fancy pants AR goggles are ugly as sin. As you're probably aware, the life of a freelance police officer is fraught with all sorts of dangers.
Yeah, like using the word fraught with a straight face.
I totally love the general feel of the game. It's funny, it's quirky, and it's very entertaining, and it makes me want to get back in the game and continue my adventures. The only major downside of the game is the controllers. They feel a bit flimsy, especially when you attempt to turn using thumbsticks, or when you duck behind a barricade, but your gun somehow is stuck behind it, and I really hope that this is something that will be fixed in the future. I personally rate this game game is really sweet on my sweet and sour scale, especially if you're a fan of single players that you can actually enjoy on your own. So I don't see this game getting any sort of a multiplayer, but please let me know what you think about Sam & Max this time it's virtual in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Disco VR for more fun VR related content. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay safe and happy VR tasting!